Welcome to the DJ CoopCity Pod. I'm here with fellow Emersonian Millan Jane, um, coming to you from Houston, and we're going to be talking about sports and pop culture in this episode, as well as maybe some other things. Uh, Millen, so you're in Houston right now, but you're a Pittsburgh sports fan.
I
So,
am. Yep.
um, but who's your favorite Houston pro sports team?
Ooh, I'd have to say the Astros. I grew up a baseball fan, and as you know, Cooper, the Pirates are not so good. So usually by this
Hmm.
time, most Pittsburgh Pirates fans check out, and we just look at baseball as a whole.
Yep.
And so I've been to Minute Maid now at Dyken Park many times. It's a great experience, great atmosphere. So I got to go them.
Yes, great. Great atmosphere for banging trash cans, huh?
Oh my God, there's so many trash cans around the park that it's hard not to, you know. I think there's a rule that you can't bring trash cans into the stadium. Um,
Oh.
there's a many rules to go into that park, and I think that's one of them.
Yeah. I don't see why that would be a rule that you'd have to state in any other ballpark, because I don't know why people would want to bring in their own trash cans since there are definitely so many in the ballpark. So yeah, that's a weird one. That's a weird restriction that I've heard. I've heard you can't bring in water bottles, whether it's,
Hmm.
you know, even anything other than just an unopened plastic water bottle, or you can't bring in maybe signs, but trash cans, that's something I have not ever heard of. But it makes sense if you know the Astros history. So, wow, huh? Um, so. The NBA playoffs are going on right now, and we got some not very competitive series so far in the Eastern and Western Conference, but now it's getting a little bit more competitive besides the Thunder. Oh, I guess just won last night to bring it to 3-1. So um, let's start with this. Who do you think is going to win the Eastern Conference Finals?
I was going back and forth on this.
Yeah.
Because we saw what, we're both Celtics fans. You're a little bit more than I am.
Hmm.
And we saw what the Knicks were able to do against the Celtics. And you can make the argument, whereas was it just the Celtics, this bricking shot after shot, and the Knicks just got, somewhat lucky. But I mean, for them to come back from another 20-point deficit again, against the Pacers, especially on a day where everyone was probably drunk in that arena with the Indy 500 happening. They're a hard team to beat. But I think the Pacers, I have to go with the Pacers. I think they're a little bit better team, better shooting, a little bit deeper off the bench. And so I think it's going to be pushed to a 7-game series. But I think Tyrese Halliburton is just
Mm.
having I guess, his Jason Tatum year, his breakout year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to stop that. And then, like you said, the West, I think we both know that series is kind of done. Um,
Yeah.
I, it
Might
was
be.
nice to see Minnesota win one game. I was hoping that was going to be a close one, but after what OKC's done throughout the playoffs, it's kind of hard not to argue they're the clear favorite to win this series, and honestly, potentially even just win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't see no matter. I mean, I think both teams with the Knicks and the Pacers are very good. I just don't think they have enough firepower to beat the Thunder.
Yeah. Yeah. The Thunder definitely looking like a very strong team. This is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP. He's at a terrific season. Uh, whether you like him in terms of his foul baiting, that's a controversial topic, but it's it's basically people hate him because he's too good at scoring points, and whether you think having most of your points at the three throw line is, the right way to play, is another topic. But they're a stacked team. Yeah, they got SGA, they got Chet Holmgren, they got Jalen Williams, so they got a lot of options. And yeah, the depth is really what you need in the playoffs, and I think they're definitely the deepest team.
Yeah, I was gonna say the depth is. I mean, they kind of look like what the Celtics did last year, right?
Yeah.
They have a strong starting five, like you said. SGA, Chet, Jalen. They all add versatility, scoring. They have great rim protection. But then their bench is, I think, one of the deepest in the league. They have a balanced roster. You could even make the argument that some of their players on the bench can compete with starters on other teams. They
Yeah.
have great shooting, defense, ball movement, and then their coaching, right? Kind of what Missoula did last year. Their coaching has fostered a strong
Oh
culture.
yeah.
They've been able to have unselfish play, spacing, defensive integrity, and you could see that with just the organization, how they've been able to win games. They're built for a playoff, and they're going to be a problem not just now, but potentially 3, 4 years down the road.
For sure. Yes, so. Moving on, we both worked at WEBN, a news station at Emerson College for those who are not aware. And that was a great time. That was one of my favorite parts of the Emerson experience. And you were a executive producer as well as an associate producer for the WEBN sports show. So sort of worked your way up there. What was your favorite part about working at WEBN?
You're gonna probably make fun of me with this one, but I would, and it's such a cliche answer, but probably the people. WEBN was great because you got to come in and you didn't need to know anything. There was a lot of people that didn't have never been on a professional TV set, but was able to get their hands started day one, and that was one of the reasons I came to Emerson is because uh they promoted you being on camera from day one, and you got to
Yeah.
learn from the seniors, and you know that the preconception of people thinking that seniors hate freshmen and they'll never talk to you and things like that. But from day one, people like you and all the seniors and juniors when I was a freshman really took time to help me get to understand what it's like to work in a TV environment, and help me become an associate and an executive producer. And it was fun to come every Monday and Tuesday or whenever the show day was. Because in college, you have classes you're taking, your classes, you're trying to you're living away from home for the first time. You're trying to
Right.
figure out your social life, your academic life. You're on your own. But then, I felt like WBN was the time you could just get away from all of that, and you can just, talk sports and have fun and just let loose a little bit.
Mm,
And
yeah.
you know how off the bench, how heated it got, but it was also heated, before the show in the newsroom and even after the show, just carrying that debate and just talking about news and sports. And it was always something to look forward to week after week.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a cool environment. It was like sort of a third place to go to besides, or even a fourth place if you say maybe class was number one. I know for a lot of people in Emerson, class was not a big part of their college experience. As you would see multiple people just skip class consecutive times, but that's neither here nor there. So we say we got class, we got the dining hall, and you got
Mm.
um your your suite or your room. So yeah,
How'd you like the dining hall?
WEBN. Yeah. What? How did I
I,
like the dining hall? I
did you
mean,
like it?
yeah, I liked it. I'd say I'd like it more than a lot of people. I think people just in general like to trash on the dining hall just because it's a college dining hall. But I thought the Emerson DH, as we call it, is was great. They had a lot of options. I mean, this was the first time in my life that you could just like grab a slice of cake at 12 p.m. and you'd be like, "Hey, I guess I'm just doing this today," Or yeah, just grab a bunch of of blondies. The dessert. What need to make that differentiation there? No, no, but it's definitely the dessert. No, not blonde women. No, no. So yeah, the dining hall was great. I trying to think of my favorite meals there. I think macaroni and cheese is always great.
Oh
That
yeah.
yeah, it had a great line. They had a always had like some sort of pork or beef dish, so that was
Mhm.
pretty good. Um, yeah, and oh the waffle maker on like that
Okay,
would
of
be a
course.
staple for me on weekends making a waffle. I feel like I was at like a hotel again where they'd have the waffle maker. You make your own waffles. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the Emerson DH?
I agree with you. I think a lot of people didn't like they made fun of it. I thought it was really good because they catered one to a lot of, food allergies and I
Uh-huh.
was gluten free for the first 2 years of college and that's another
Mm,
story to get into. But
mm.
so they were always open with gluten free and having that separate station that was specifically gluten free. But then it also catered to like people's schedules, right? You had things that you could sit down and eat, and then you had like grab things you could just grab and go to class. We had like 5 minutes between classes. So yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that
yeah.
definitely catered. I mean, and I can understand the point where like if you're eating it so much, you kind of get bored of it, which I mean, I did, right? I
Yeah, that's
definitely
true.
there's
I mean,
times
yeah,
where I
that's
got
definitely
bored,
true.
but I've been to a couple of college campuses, and our dining hall is definitely one of the better ones than
Hmm.
in than the ones that I've been to.
Yeah, these I'm telling you, it's these rich snobby people from LA or something. And hey, when we know a few people from LA, so I'm not gonna say that they're the snobby ones necessarily. I never really heard them complain about the food. I don't think personally, but
No, they loved it. They loved it. They're great people.
yeah,
They
yeah.
loved the dining hall.
Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like a lot of people they with growing up wealthy, I think maybe just this type of environment is sort of a step down for them. That's
I
that's
see that.
that's my take, but it's like it's a college dining hall. Like what do you expect? Like
Yeah.
5 star like gourmet meals? Like come on, like yeah, it was like to your point. We have it so I think we have it so much better than other colleges in the country. And when you pay the kind of tuition that we paid at Emerson, you better be getting some pretty good food.
Oh, agreed.
So yeah. Yeah, going back to WEBN, I mean, since I mean I started in January of 2020, like 6 weeks before the pandemic. So I got like, 6 weeks of a college experience pre-COVID. And then obviously it was a lot different when I came back in that following fall in the fall of 2020. So, but even during then, WEBN was like a place that you could go to, which wasn't, class or just sitting in your room. So, I mean, and it was definitely a little bit modified. It wasn't like the same as it was in like, 2022 or 2023 when I was there, but it was just a great place where you could feel like even during the pandemic, like things were like fairly normal and that you could still um, be getting these broadcasting reps during a tough time when people probably wasn't available at a lot of other places and some places didn't I don't think had any like in-person activities, even classes. So I think at Emerson we had more in-person opportunities than probably a lot of colleges had during that time. So that was good to see. Yep. All right. So were you ever living in Houston at the same time that James Harden was on the Rockets, Millen?
It's funny. So I growing up, I lived in before Houston, I lived in three cities that never had a basketball team in
Oh,
Pittsburgh,
okay.
Seattle, and Connecticut. So
Hmm.
I never got into the NBA, and I
Connecticut's
was
a
like, oh my,
city now?
or state, or now state, yeah, you know what I mean. Um, but I was like, okay, we're going to Houston. I could probably become a Rockets fan. And just as I was moving, I think James Harden left, and that was when the
Oh,
downfall of the Rockets
man.
started. So I was like, all right, there's no point of being a Rocket fan when they're going to go through this long rebuild, which they're finally coming out of now.
Yep.
And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think I ever got to see it, but I was able to be here um, for the Astros 20, a couple of their World Series runs here, which was really cool.
They're
Um,
illegitimate World Series runs.
I missed 17. I missed the cheating,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
one I
Yeah.
missed that one. I was here for when they lost to the Nationals, and then when they beat the Phillies. I was here for those
Oh,
two.
okay.
And those were fun years.
Nice,
Because this
nice.
this city loves its Astros. I think I would have to say that's probably one of their better, their better teams that they
Yeah.
support.
Yeah. Yeah. So you never went to a strip club and saw James Harden there?
I haven't been to a strip club yet in Houston. I don't know where they
Oh.
are.
Mm.
But I still haven't seen James Harden yet.
Mm, okay. Isn't Houston known for that? Their strip clubs?
I don't know if they're known for their strip clubs, but they're definitely known one for their hospitals, and they're definitely known for their barbecue
Oh,
and
okay.
Mexican food. I always and maybe I may be biased, but I say Texas has the best, or at least Houston has the best food in the country.
Mm.
Especially definitely in the state. Their barbecue is hard to compete with. Maybe Kansas City and Dallas might be up there, but their Tex-Mex, their barbecue, some of the best type of food you'll ever have in your life.
Okay. All right. Yeah, very, very media savvy answer there. You can tell that you've worked in media, not mentioning
Yeah,
strip clubs much. Okay. So moving over to Pittsburgh,
yeah,
it's the city of bridges, as
yeah.
people call it. What's your favorite bridge in Pittsburgh?
Oh, hands down. It's the Fort Pitt Bridge. And
Okay.
so I always say Pittsburgh has uh, the best entrance to a city. So
Mm.
because going into the Fort Pitt Bridge, it's a bunch of hills and like suburbia and houses and boring stuff. And then you enter the bridge, you enter the tunnel, the Fort Pitt tunnel, and then once you get onto the bridge, it's this explosion of the entire skyline. You can see the entire city crossing the river. You can see to your left the two sports stadiums, and then to your right all the city. And it's
Nice.
really cool. It's a double decker bridge. And one of the coolest, if you've never been to Pittsburgh, I definitely recommend you going on this bridge. It's one of the coolest ones you'll ever see.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. Pittsburgh seems like a cool city. You got the Pirates and Paul Skenes, so we're both big Paul Skenes fans. Yep. Maybe for slightly different reasons. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's a very exciting time for the Pirates. They're I don't follow the Pirates that closely, but even with Paul Skenes, they're not doing super well, are they? No.
Not at all. There is a lot that's
Yeah.
gone wrong with the Pirates, and there's definitely a lot of blame you could put in the owner and the general manager. I will say though, and I think for a national audience like yourself and the people out there, this might sound crazy, but I don't think the Pirates are that far away from at least competing for a playoff spot. I
Hmm.
think they figured out the hardest thing to do in for a team is their starting rotation. I think they have one of the best rotations in baseball,
Mm.
and it showed. They have a 0.57 ERA in the month of May. I think that might have gone up after last night, but it's their hitting that's horrible. They've spent money on the wrong ways coming into
Yeah.
the season. They didn't. I mean, we saw what Paul Skeens did last year, and we know that the Pirates have O'Neal Cruz, who's a freak of nature, and so people were like, if you build around them, you should be able to make the playoffs. The problem is they didn't do that because the general manager wanted to count on internal improvement and say, we think the guys that we have are going to do good, and they've done horrible.
Mm.
And so if I hope we somehow fire our general manager and we get a guy that understands that you don't have to spend like a lot of money like the Dodgers to win a World Series. You can win on a budget just spend it on the right guys, and the general manager has not done that right now in Pittsburgh. And I mean, everyone talks about the Steelers and the Penguins, but in Pittsburgh, the Pirates course through the city's veins. Like it doesn't matter how much losing, 40 years of losing, and the people of Pittsburgh are obsessed with the Pirates. They live and die and breathe Pittsburgh Pirates. And 2013 was probably the best year of my life because that was the last time the Pirates won a playoff game.
Wow.
Um, and it was the blackout when McCutcheon told everyone to wear black, and the whole city stole out that stadium, was taunting Johnny Cueto. And it was probably one of the best atmospheres in baseball in North America. It's probably one of the best North American sporting events. I would be hard pressed to find a sporting event that would top that one. Not because of the game, just because it was more of a family affair because you had kids like myself bringing their grandfathers to the game because they both have never seen a Pirates team make the playoffs.
Wow.
That's the type of losing this team has. And so when this team hopefully makes the playoffs again, it's gonna be what you see in Philly and what you see in New York. It's gonna be a full scale, absolute, mob in Pittsburgh. And I'm very excited to hopefully one day get to experience that.
Yes, for sure. Oh yeah. I've seen the photos that you've taken at a Pirates game, and it looks like a great ballpark with a like a tremendous backdrop. You see out behind the outfield, you see all the skyscrapers
Mhm.
in Pittsburgh. It looks like a very cool park. So yeah, I'd like to see the Pirates do well. And Andrew McCutcheon is back with the Pirates, isn't he?
He is. So
Yeah.
he left in 2017. I mean, he was the guy that changed the Pirates organization. He was the reason, you know, people like myself fell in love with baseball. He was the reason that, you know, elderly people and, people that were fans back in the 70s and 80s came back to watch the Pirates. And then he left, which was a tough thing to do. But then he came back, I think 3 years ago.
Mhm.
I think the sad reality is this is probably going to be his last year on the Pirates.
Wow.
I don't think we can afford to have him next year. And I don't know, he's getting older. I don't know if he's going to want to retire, or stay in the MLB. But he's my favorite baseball player. He's the reason why I got into baseball. And he will definitely hold a spot in everyone in Pittsburgh right now.
Mhm. Great. Um, so uh transitioning away from sports. So we're both guys in their 20s, and we're both single currently, and ready to mingle. So what are your thoughts on double texting a girl? Are you for it or against it?
I think it depends on a lot of situations,
Depends
right?
on the girl. Uh-huh.
Well, not just the girl. I think it
Oh,
depends on the
okay.
situation. It depends. Okay, so that's very open. So for me, if let's say you make plans with someone, um, I would, say we're going out, we're going to get ice cream on Friday, and you guys, that's the end of the conversation. Maybe on Thursday, I'd double text you and be like, hey, we're still free for Friday, just trying to confirm. I try not to double text as much as possible because I don't want to seem clingy or needy or things like that. But yeah, I would say it's a case by case basis.
Yeah. That makes sense. I guess that's the case with a lot of things because um first of all, women are not a monolith, you know? Just want to put that out there. Yep. And yeah. So I'm a big double texture. I don't care. I know that's a lot what you what society has said not to do, but I don't care. I don't play by the rules. And if
You go against the stream.
yeah, if and if it doesn't work, who cares? But if it does work, great. I think it shows it shows interest. But it's good to see your thoughts on that. And so just what relationship advice would you give to single guys in their 20s?
I would say confidence will get you a lot of places.
Mhm.
Confidence and I guess humor. Um,
Yes.
the more, the more confident you seem, the better received it will be, people will have. And that's just not even just in dating, that's just in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Confidence, being able to listen to someone. They always think the thing I like to do a lot, is kind of like repeat back or rephrase what someone said to me. If I'm talking to, if it's a girl, if it's, my boss, I don't, anybody, I like to listen intently and then kind of like rephrase what they say, in a sense, and it reassures them that that you're listening, that you care about what they say, and being proactive, being able to make plans and put yourself out there. I think there's definitely a stereotype, or not stereotype. There's definitely a like there's a thing where people are worried that you put yourself out there, you're gonna get shot down, and that's definitely a big fear on a lot of people. But if you go out there, you be confident. Yeah, if you get 3 out of 10, if you're successful 3 times out of 10, in baseball, you're batting 300, you're going in the Hall of Fame.
Hey.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
I feel like that's a mindset shift that a lot of people need to have. That's like, if you go 3 out of 10, you're going in the Hall of Fame. That's really successful. Versus.
Hmm.
So, but yeah,
Well, I'm just trying to get on base.
yeah, exactly. Get
Yeah.
on base any way you can, and I think the biggest thing too is just because something works for
First
one
base.
person may not work for somebody else. You got to find your own niche, your own. That's why I've never liked like those. I don't know if you see those like TikTok dating advice from people. They try to give
Yeah.
advice,
I've
and
I've,
I've
I've
never
seen
really.
I've seen that on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of that because I've always been like, everyone's different. You got to find what's unique to you, what works for you, and stick with that. Because what may work for me may not work for you. So you may not work for me, and so being
Yeah.
able to make yourself unique is always going to be it's going to be successful.
Yeah. That's a good thing to keep in mind. Yeah. I feel like there's definitely a lot of like sort of blanket statements with, the dating content on social media. I feel like that's become pretty prevalent, and it's just like, it's like, okay, okay, like saying like this I saw this video where this girl in her 20s, probably around our age, and she was like, if you wear a backwards hat, you like instantly seem more attractive. And just like,
Mm.
I think this girl just might be just attractive to frat guys or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people are different.
Yeah. So that's a good to know. And one more thing before we sign off here is, um let's see. Do you think Paul Skenes and Livvy Dunne are gonna get engaged? And if so, when do you think it's gonna happen?
I think they definitely will get engaged. I mean, I think they're a power couple. I'm curious to see when, because one, weddings are expensive, and Paul Skeens, well, I guess he's making a lot with,
I don't
I
think
guess,
he's
all of
gonna
his
have
sponsorship.
any problems, and she makes a lot of money as well. But
True. I would say I would say the next 2 years they're
uh,
gonna get engaged. I think she's my year, or I think she's done with college. I think once she leaves college and she's officially done. No pun intended there. But then
nice
I
one.
think that's when, yeah, I think in the next year or two, maybe 2 years, once she gets established, and he's already pretty established in Pittsburgh right now. So I would say in the next year or two.
Interesting. Interesting. Maybe this is just how Paul Skeens is, but in the foot, maybe he just doesn't like the media. Maybe he's sort of like a Belichick guy. Well, but anyway, Belichick's become a big fan of the media recently. But anyway, when he used to could be coaching the Patriots, obviously was not a big fan of
Yeah,
the era cameras. And Paul Skeens seems the same way. And whenever he's with Livy, he always seems to not want to be around her low key. Like he almost never smiles. He just seems like so. over her, not into her. Just briefly, what are your thoughts on that?
I definitely see where you're coming from. Paul Skenes grew up in a military background. He went to the Air Force before he attended LSU. So I think he has some of that like military professional standard that we all
Stoicness.
see. Is that yeah, that's in him. So I think when, I think and a lot of it last year was him just trying to kind of like stay in his lane, trying to because he's going to be the face of baseball along with Otani in the next couple of years
Yeah.
or for a while. And so him trying to just get used to being in the spotlight, understanding, and just combining with that his military background. I can see where that comes off in. But he seems like a fun dude behind the scenes. Obviously, I don't know him, and I wish I would. But he was fun. I got to see him when he came down to Houston when they played the Astros last year. But they're definitely not going to trade him, nor is he. He's physically unable to be traded, in my opinion. But he's definitely going to be here for a while.
Okay, great. Um, well, that does it for this episode of the DJ Coop City Pod. Millen, thanks for taking the time to come on here.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll see you later.